What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we're going to be previewing Port Adelaide's round 22 clash against North Melbourne, which is happening this Saturday night at Marvel Stadium at 7:10 p.m. South Australian time. So it's going to be a big Saturday night game for the Power, trying to cement their spot in the top 8, going for 3 wins in a row, while North Melbourne will be looking to respond after their dismal 1-goal 8 against Geelong, losing by 55 points. A very interesting game at Marvel. Port Adelaide do have the wood on North Melbourne, so let's get into this review and see exactly what is going to happen. As always, we start our previews with a bit of opposition watch and looking at North Melbourne this week. They're sitting 14th on the ladder with 8 wins and 12 losses. Hasn't been the greatest of seasons for North Melbourne. It all started pretty poorly all the way back in round 1. And the first time we met this year was in Anzac Round, losing by 14 points. North Melbourne did so. They did have a pretty good game against us that round, although they were pretty dominated early on. And I think the main thing now is for North Melbourne to try and get a bit of momentum ready for the pre-season going into 2020 with their new coach, Rhys Shaw. But they'll be looking to get a bit of respect back and a bit of pride against Port this Saturday night, especially after last week's performance. Cookson's boys will be looking to try and beat Port Adelaide. They haven't done it since round 3, 2014. And when these two teams started versing each other in 1997, North Melbourne had at one stage like a 20 wins to 5, I think it was. And Port Adelaide have won for the last 5 years. I think the ledger's now only 21 to 13. They're around that mark. And Port Adelaide have had the wood on North Melbourne as of late, and particularly at Marvel Stadium. It's been 5 years since they've lost there to North, which Port Adelaide doesn't usually have a happy hunting ground at Marvel, but especially with the performance against Essendon a couple of weeks ago, they'll be definitely to ride that momentum into this week. So North Melbourne with an injury cloud over Scott Thompson with his nasty concussion he copped last week. I really feel this is an opportunity for Port Adelaide to stamp their authority once again for the top 8, while North Melbourne will be looking to get a bit of respect back. We go into a bit of the game notes and what to look out for this weekend. Simply, Port Adelaide must win this week to keep their top 8 hunt going, especially with how Adelaide performed against West Coast. They'll be looking to be favourites against Collingwood this Saturday. So if they lose that, Port Adelaide simply would have to win against North Melbourne and all but cement a spot, maybe a bit more percentage, but it definitely be looking likely we'll play finals. But it all comes down to Port Adelaide playing well against North, and you know what? You can't take North Melbourne easily. Although their performance against Geelong was pretty poor, they have been really good since signing Rhys Shaw on all the way back in, I think, mid-year during the bye sometime. So that is something they'll be looking at, especially playing at Marvel. Back at home, North will be looking to bounce back. And I think one of the biggest things for North is their starts. They didn't have a good start against Hawthorn. They had a poor start against Geelong. And if they can get a good start, same way Port Adelaide do, if they don't get a good start, Port are off. They're off. And it's the same as North. So it'll be all about the start this week and seeing exactly who can get the jump on each other and try and take away the momentum early and really stamp their authority on the game. It'll be the first time since rounds, I think it was like 14, 15, 16 in 2018. If Port Adelaide were to get up, they'll win 3 in a row. Hasn't happened for a good year now, and this is the first time since round 5 and 6 Port Adelaide have come off 2 wins in a row. And I think one of the biggest things for Port is consistency. If you get consistency in a young group, they adapt to it, they connect with it, and it seems like if they can do that every week, then they're not going to switch that off, and that's the sign of a good team. And Port Adelaide have the ingredients for that. They just have to find a way to get that consistency going, and they'll be able to do it if they can get over North Melbourne. If they can do that, they'll go into the game against Fremantle with full of confidence back at home, and finals will all but be confirmed. But we've got to focus on North. Some key players they'll be looking at, obviously Ben Brown will be looking to bounce back. Especially, he hasn't been in the greatest of form of late, but I think with a great defender like Tom Cleary bound to be on him, it will become a bit of a nerve-wracking time for anyone up for. But North have other options. They have Zeeble, they have Zerha, and they'll be looking to counteract that by trying to tag Travis Boak, who is the most important player in this week's game. I feel if he gets off the leash, 30, 35 touches, North Melbourne don't really have a tagger at the moment. I think if Boak gets off the leash, he can be lethal, and he got 3 votes. Oh, not 3 votes, but he got best on ground against North in Anzac round, got the Anzac medal against North, and he had 38 disposals, somewhat like 80% efficiency. He was just all over the place. And if he can get another best on ground performance here, then it will be pretty lethal for North Melbourne's chances, because Boak has been one of the best midfielders in 2019. Did get tagged against Sydney last week, or tagged / shut out of the game. And if North Melbourne are willing to have an opportunity in the middle, they will be wanting to will nullify his influence big time. The other thing Port Adelaide will be looking at is selection, obviously with Paddy Ryder and Peter Laddams having 2 brilliant games in a row. The combination that we never saw coming at the beginning of the year is really thriving at the moment. Laddams is taking the ownership of being the number 1 ruckman and really putting his case forward to stay in this side, and that's something as a young fella he'll be really pleased with. And there's no reason to change it this week, because if it's working, if a mix is working, then there's no need to take that out and take that away from a team that's been pretty consistent. Even against GWS, they were pretty consistent. They just couldn't get the scoreboard right. And I think the last 3 weeks, Port Adelaide have really got that right. And to kick 200 plus scores, they'll be looking at it to do it again this weekend against North. There's no reason to change anything at selection. Obviously, you look at players that haven't performed over the last couple of weeks, and if they're just riding along with the team's good form, then you look at maybe bringing 1 or 2 in, and we had to do that last week with Butters going out through an injury. I don't think Butters will come back into the side this week. Unfortunately, I feel with the way the whole team performed, he might be left out and have to play the Magpies. The only one I can see really looking likely he could come out is Sam Gray. With the hot form of Stephen Motlop in the SANFL, kicked 8 goals in 2 weeks. He's been phenomenal in the Magpies side. That's an opportunity there to swap that around. Look, Motlop, here you go. We're not going to reward Sam's current okay form. I'm going to put you in the hot seat. You got to deliver, and he might do that, or he might bring in Zach Butters to take his spot back, and Sam Gray go look for some just a bit better touch in the Magpies side. But I don't think Kenny will be looking to change too much. That's the only thing I'd do if there were to change the side, is bring in Motlop for Sam Gray. But I'm happy with an unchanged lineup. I don't think Lysette will come in. There's no need to change that, although he had a brilliant game in the SANFL last week. Give him another go. See if the team doesn't work this week, and then you can go into Fremantle thinking Lysette come in, and whoever hasn't performed goes out. My prediction this week, well, for North Melbourne fans, I feel like this might be a bit of a dirty day once again. I think, the signs of a young side, they're starting to check out now. They've got really... it's not... They've got nothing to play for, but it's more... there's more on the line for Port Adelaide. And I think Reece Shaw will be looking to, stamp his authority and really say, yeah, look, I'm the man for the job. This is why you gave me the opportunity to be the senior coach from next year onwards. And I've got to get this team up. And no doubt it'll be a close game, but I do feel Port Adelaide will run away with it a bit, winning by 27 points. And you might see someone like a big Charlie Dixon take the game on and kick a bag or so. Or even Todd Marshall, or one of the little fellas, Connor Rosie as well. So it's going to be a big game this Saturday night, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And oh God, I hope we win. Thank you very much for watching this preview, Port fans. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this weekend's game and who's going to win. North Melbourne fans, if you are watching, make sure you let me know in the comments below what you're thinking about the game and what Port Adelaide should be looking out for, because I feel like even though North Melbourne haven't been in the greatest of form over the last couple of weeks, they'll definitely be looking to bounce back, and I know they'll bring the heat early. And I just hope Port Adelaide are able to weather it, and we'll be able to get over top here. Thanks so much for watching, guys. All the very best for your teams this week, and I hope Port Adelaide get the job done. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide content coming your way in the coming weeks. And it's getting to the end of the season. I'm really disappointed. It's quite sad, actually. I don't want it to end. Really starting to enjoy Port Adelaide winning, but nonetheless, we move on and look forward to this weekend's game. My name is Anthony, Port fans. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, come the pair.